Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making a pumpkin vegan risotto. There's a little bit more moving parts to it than the last video, but don't let that deter you. It's so good. Trust me, so good. And the best part about cooking is if you mess something up, the next time you know what not to do and what to do. So we're going to start off with the marinade because we're going to be marinating tofu, and it is going to be 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. My roommate's cat is in heat, so bear with me. And then you are going to do a tablespoon of sriracha. Now the sriracha, it doesn't really have much heat after it's marinated and cooked out and everything. It just kind of gives it some flavor. So if you want more heat, go ahead, add more. I would recommend actually trying it with the full amount if you can't handle heat, but if you really can't handle it, you can do a little bit less, that's fine. And it's going to have 3 tablespoons of honey. Whisk that right up. Slowly, because my bowl is a little too small to do it quickly. Okay. You want to take your tofu. Now, normally you would press your tofu for about 20 minutes, just wrap it in paper towel, put it on a plate, put another plate on top of it, and put something heavy on it. Like you could do a couple of cans, like soup cans, anything. Press that out, get the water out. I have already, as you can tell, been using this tofu, so it's already pressed and going. You just want to do about 1/4 inch slices. Now this tofu, this recipe is for about 2 to 3 people, depending on how much you can eat. And then I like to just pour a little bit of the marinade on the bottom. Place the tofu in the bowl. Pour the rest of it on top. It's that simple, folks. And then let this go in the fridge until we need it. So it's gonna probably marinate for about half an hour before I pull it out, maybe a little bit longer. And then you are going to want to do, hair is annoying. So you're gonna wanna take about 1/4 of an onion. I, again, have been using this for about a week now. Maybe just a little bit more. Reusable Ziploc bags. Save the planet, my friends, because the world is dying. Then you're just going to chop this up. Chop. I hate chopping onions. Anybody else hate chopping onions as much as I do? Because I can't stand it. Yeah, I would say she's good. I'm gonna come over to the stove, turn it on about a medium-high heat, add probably about a tablespoon of oil. Let that heat. All right. So we're gonna add the onions and let that saute. Again, I got impatient and didn't wait long enough for my pan to heat up, so here we are. good, not a good heaping amount of salt, but you know, a good pinch of salt. Add that straight in. I need to get like a pinch bowl for my salt because I hate this. So you're gonna let the onions saute for about 3 or 4 minutes just so they can get translucent. And then we're gonna add in half of a teaspoon of garlic. All right, so the onions are starting to look translucent. So I'm gonna add half of a teaspoon of garlic. And again, I'm too lazy to mince my own garlic. I ain't got time for that. Heaping teaspoon. Let that cook for a little bit. Probably about like 30 seconds, not too long. Now, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of white wine. I'm using Chardonnay. I would suggest either Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio. Don't do Moscato, that's gonna be way too sweet. Now we're just gonna let that cook into the onions and absorb a little. I'm gonna turn this down because it's a little too high. Let that absorb into the flavor. So you wanna reduce the wine a little bit before you add in the Arborio rice. So the wine has reduced, so I'm going to add 3/4 cups of Arborio rice straight in there, and we're gonna let that cook for about a minute just so it can get all fragranced and beautiful. So I already went ahead and made my broth. I just did 2.5 cups of broth with 2.5 teaspoons of the Better Than Boullion vegetable paste. You want the water to be warm when you put it in there, so you're gonna wanna put it in the microwave. I put it in there for about 2 minutes, so that way the bouillon paste can dissolve. But I already went ahead and did that. So we're just gonna add probably about a cup of this right now to this, because you're going to want, with Arborio rice to make risotto, you want it to slowly cook. So that's what's gonna take the time. It's gonna be about 40 minutes before this is ready. But yeah, so don't do this on a day where you have a lot of crap to do because it's gonna take a while. So I'm just gonna let that be in here. I have my stove at about 4.5. Yeah, about 4.5. And we're just gonna let that cook. While your Arborio rice is simmering and absorbing all of the flavor, we're gonna come over here and cut up mushrooms because yes, I love mushrooms. Everything I make has mushrooms in it. So I got 10 mushrooms here, and we're just going to chop them. We'll slice them really, but technically we are chopping. So all of the mushrooms are chopped. We're just gonna let that sit there for a minute, hang out, do its little thing, gossip, talk to its friends a little bit. And then we are going to go back to the stove and roast some walnuts. Can't really see it over in this burner that much, but we're gonna do this tiny little pot. Put it on half. We're gonna do a tablespoon of coconut oil. If you don't have coconut oil, or if you don't use coconut oil for really anything, you don't need to get it for this. You could just do butter. Oh shit. Okay. Well, my coconut oil is not all the way solidified, so that's cool. Anyways, as I was saying, you could just use butter or you could do oil. It really does not matter, honestly. I just like the little bit of flavor that the coconut oil gives this. I think it's tasty. Add in a pinch of salt. Maybe 2 pinches of salt. So I have here a 1/4 cup of chopped raw walnuts. And we're just gonna plop that right in there. And let those roast up, get all nice and roasty toasty. So as you can tell, the broth has boiled down. The rice is starting to look fluffy. It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die. We're gonna add probably about a 1/2 cup more to this. Honey, I know, I'm sorry, I'm busy at the moment. So we're gonna add about a 1/2 cup, mix that in. And then over in this pot, we've got walnuts being roasty toasty. Just let that do its thing. So we got the walnuts nice and toasted. Just gonna come and grab a spoon. I hope you can see me. We'll try this right here. And then you're just gonna kind of fish them out. Try to grab as little oil as possible. And then we're gonna set them to the side. Oh, this smells so good. I'm so hungry. Oh my God. You've got these beautiful toasted almond. Nope, these aren't almonds. These are walnuts. It's beautiful toasted walnuts. This is looking good. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And then, there. So we're just slowly cooking down this rice. Letting it do its thing. We're gonna turn on this front burner. Let that heat up a bit because we're gonna start the mushrooms. A little bit of oil. So I got a pot of water. I'm gonna put it on and boil it because we're doing spinach. We're gonna blanch the spinach. So basically, if you don't know, blanching spinach is literally just pouring boiling hot water onto it. And it's the easiest part of this whole thing. So cool. We're gonna put that on. We're gonna go ahead and add the mushrooms. Couple more pinches of salt, you know, we'll just, yeah. Some pepper to taste. I like pepper. And then another half of a teaspoon of garlic. I don't know what my cats are doing. They're doing something out there and, hey. I want you to cook faster because I want you in my belly. We're going to turn on the back burner as well, and we're going to turn this one, again, at about a 5. I cook everything about medium heat, so add some oil. This is going to be for the tofu. If you don't want to do tofu for this, you can do chicken and marinate it the same way. How long you want to cook it, I don't know. 20 minutes? I don't know, honestly. And again, you can do a different broth. It doesn't have to be vegan. It doesn't have to be vegetarian. You can swap out some things to make this how your diet is. But I think you should try it this way because it's absolutely delicious. I'm just gonna add the rest of this broth. Okay, so I got our marinated tofu. I'm gonna grab a fork. I'm just gonna grab a piece, plop it in there. Again, I never wait long enough for everything to heat up. That is my downfall. But at least I know my flaws. It's fine. I'm gonna eat you when you're done, and I am excited. Tofu, we're gonna cook the tofu for about 10 minutes, probably about 5 on each side. Flip it, you know. Get it nice and crispy, get a little golden brown, how we like it. So our water is boiling. Turn that off. Walk it over to the sink. I just already went ahead and put a heaping handful of spinach in there, and we're just gonna pour that all right on top of it. Probably didn't see half of that because I moved my camera around, but there you go. steamy delicious. Now the mushrooms are pretty much done, so I'm going to reduce that to a low just to keep it warm without overcooking it. Get yourself a little spatula. And we flip. Oh, look at that. So you're gonna do half a cup. Oh shit, if you don't fucking spill it all over the floor. It's on top. Half a cup of pumpkin. That's not a full cup, but half no beer. I've got more pumpkin. So if you were worried, don't worry. I figured it out. Ow. I don't know about you. Does anybody else hate opening cans as much as I hate opening cans? I always try to get the ones with the pull-off tab as much as possible because it's annoying. So you're just going to use, I use 100% just pure pumpkin. This one's organic. You don't need to do organic. It's just what they had in the store. I really don't care that much. But just do pure pureed pumpkin because it's easier than trying to find an actual pumpkin and going through all that work. Okay, so you're just going to take this pumpkin, plop it right inside. Get all of that beautiful goodness. Nature's beautiful color. You got that. Half of a teaspoon of nutmeg, half of a teaspoon of cinnamon, a fourth a teaspoon of thyme, a fourth a teaspoon of oregano, a fourth a teaspoon of rosemary, and 2.5 teaspoons of brown sugar. Just gonna dump that all. Come on, dump that all in there and mix it together. So we got that all mixed together. Oh, just look at how beautiful that is. We're just gonna let that cook for a little bit longer, just a couple more minutes, and then we'll be done. You can keep calling for that dick all you want, boo-boo, but you're not gonna find any. Alright, you guys, and now we have the beautiful finished product. Doesn't this just make you want to throw on a nice hoodie and a comfy scarf, go sit in a pumpkin patch and drink some spiced latte, you know, in the fall after we get through this summer? Because, girl, we are ready for summer. And now, my favorite part of all of this is to eat it. It smells delicious. I am hungry. We're just gonna dive in. Make sure you smell it first though, cause that's amazing. Just gonna get right in there, get a bit of that tofu. And cheers, my guy. It's gonna be hot. We got some sweetness going on from the risotto and some earthy delicious tones from the spinach and from the mushrooms, and then you got just like a little tiny bit of heat, barely any heat from the tofu, and then just that crunch from the walnuts, and it's just, I'd kiss the chef, but I am the chef, so good job. Neat. I really recommend everybody trying this. It's a lot to do. It takes some time, but it's delicious and it's just fucking fantastic, bro. Happy dance. Happy dance. All right, well, thank you for joining me in my kitchen. I'm gonna go, I don't know, do things, I guess. Have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy this recipe. It is delicious. Please make it. Let your belly be happy. All right. Bye, guys.